What if vegetables became so expensive that you couldn't afford to buy them? The government has proposed additional tariffs on vegetables from Mexico, where most of our fresh vegetables come from. According to a report that I will link below, in 2023, 63% of our fresh produce came from Mexico, and that number goes up every year. Growing our own nutrients could be the solution. I struggled for many years to grow anything, but it wasn't until a master gardener moved into my neighborhood that I was finally able to understand the principles to successfully grow my own vegetables. I understand it can be very frustrating to want to grow things on your own, but be completely overwhelmed by what you don't know. And the problem is there's so much conflicting information, it's impossible to know what to believe. Finding a solution that has been tried in countless countries would be a godsend. And even if you knew where to get reliable information, you might be thinking, but I'm a college student. I don't have space or time to be growing a garden. And even if I did, would the little bit I grow be enough to make a difference? One solution would be to grow microgreens. They are a tiny capsule of nutrition in any indoor space. Microgreens have become popular for just that reason. They are tiny sprouted plants that can be harvested just a few days after they germinate and pop out of the soil. These are actually just about this big. The only seeds you can't grow are tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and anything in the pepper family. Anything else you could grow. You could get seeds from the dollar store. You could save the seeds from your melon, wash and plant those. You could grow cucumbers or celery or carrots or radishes. All of these make excellent little microgreens that have a taste that reflects what the plant is. The melon microgreens have a melon flavor. Broccoli is one of the favorites right now because it is so high in nutrition, as much as 30 times the microgreens, as much as 30 times as the actual little plant. And it also has cancer-fighting properties, and they're really quite tasty. I'll leave a link to a scientific journal explaining the benefits of these microgreens. But don't overlook the mental health benefits either. There is something soul satisfying in working with soil, with seeds and water, and watching plants sprout, and then feeling accomplished when harvesting microgreens you grew yourself. As students, there's another reason to grow microgreens. There are families living in the Andes Mountains where it's too cold to grow traditional gardens. The church did a humanitarian project there where they supplied the materials for the families to build greenhouses. The families were then able to grow lettuce and carrots and other greens. The interesting thing was, once the children in those families started eating those vegetables, their grades improved, especially their ability to do math. Growing microgreens inside is similar to the greenhouse project. In the warmth of your home, you can quickly and easily grow nutrients to supplement your diet. Envision this. You can enjoy the flavors of fresh vegetables in a fraction of the time and space. Can you imagine bright green, red, or orange microgreens sprouting up through brown soil, snipping off a little handful and putting it into your salad, sandwich, or smoothie, feeling your mood lifted not just from the extra vitamins and minerals, but from the satisfaction of growing it yourself? Vegetable prices are already high. They'll get even higher, and it might be tempting to just skip vegetables altogether. The tragedy is that our health and cognitive abilities would suffer. But no worries, you can easily grow nutrient-packed microgreens. They're simple to grow and less expensive than a trip to the produce department. The health and cognitive benefits are more than worth it. To get started today, all you need is a little container with a clear lid. The lid helps hold the moisture to keep the soil moist. Poke holes in the bottom, so if it gets too much water, it will drain out. Then add a handful of dry potting soil. Think Miracle-Gro potting soil. You can buy that, $5 bag. Break it up, put it in your little thing, about a half an inch deep. Then add a couple of tablespoons of water. You're going to mix it in, play in the dirt a little bit. What you're going for is the consistency of a moist muffin. So it's crumbly, but if you squeeze it, no water comes out. So moist, but not wet. Then once you've got your soil and you spread it out, then you'll take your seeds, whichever ones you decide, and you completely cover the soil with seeds. Maybe just give it a tiny little mist of water, put the lid on, and sit it in a warm place. You could sit it just like by the stove where a vent is, but I like to put mine in a sunny window, and that will create this steamy little warm spot for seeds to sprout. That's one of the properties that seeds have to have, is the warmth to sprout. And in just a couple of days, you're going to look at it all the time because you're going to want to see if something's happening. And in about 3 or 4 days, you should see like all this little green start popping through your soil. So take the lid off, give it a couple more days in the sun. Then there's a thing called blackout. I think that's what it's called. So you don't need the lid anymore, but you would put it just somewhere in the kitchen, somewhere where it would get indirect light, but not direct sunlight. And then you would leave it there, and that will cause the little sprouts to stretch up for the sun. And then as they do, they'll be longer and easier to harvest. So I will leave a link to a list below of all of I think there's 60 different microgreens that you can grow and how long they would need to harvest. So let me just explain. If these were supposed to be harvested at 10 days, you could start harvesting them at 8. You could cut you off a little bit and then cut you off a little bit more. You could go for 7 days past the harvest date. Anything left after that would need to go in the refrigerator. Or you could let them grow just a little bit longer, and they would actually end up as baby greens. And then you could have them for a lettuce, or for a salad, or for your sandwiches or whatever. So imagine having little green crunchies packed with nutrition to help you do better in your classes, right in your kitchen that you grew yourself. The high price of food doesn't need to stop you from eating well. The mental benefits of working in the soil and watching the plants grow will make growing microgreens a delightful part of your life. With just a little effort, you'll be on your way to eating healthier. You and your education are worth it. Thank you.